Hello everybody, this is Bradley from Politics UK. So we are now just 7 days away from the local elections and we already have rumours of cabinet reshuffles, the Chancellor going, the PM going, and Angela Rayner and Wes Streeting setting up their next steps. But now, today, before this all comes to fruition, we can get an idea of just how bad I guess Thursday night, Friday morning, through Friday, Saturday is going to go for the Labour Party. We have a little bit of analysis from Lord Hayward for Peston and The Guardian. So let's just go through this quickly. So this is the expected seat losses and gains. So this is not the final figure that the parties will end up on, but it is the amount of losses and gains. So for Reform, given they're only defending 2 seats, this theoretically would put them on 1,552 seats won. And similarly, for Labour, they're losing about 3/4 of their seats. I mean, the quote is for this: anything north of 1,500 seats lost would trigger a collective nervous breakdown. So yeah, I mean, these are incredible numbers, really. So Labour down to about 700 seats, coming in defending 2,500. I would argue that actually this would be a pretty good night for the Conservatives to only lose just about half of their seats, just under half of their seats. A lot of predictions earlier on had them losing 800 to 1,000 seats. So yeah, if they could only limit their losses to 600, I know what a strange political landscape we're in at the moment, where we're saying combined the Labour and Conservatives losing about 2,400 seats is for one of the parties not a bad night. It is absolutely crazy, but genuinely, if the Tories can hold on to about 700 seats, that's a reasonable night for them given the wider picture. Lib Dems raising up to about 800 seats, not too much of a surprise to us. I do think the Lib Dem gains are going to be quite limited because there's definitely signs they're losing some of their support to the Greens now. Now the Greens are becoming a bit more mainstream. How effective will that vote be for the Lib Dems? In a couple of by-elections recently, they've not been performing as strongly, especially when the Greens have been present. So given all of the main parties are standing in basically every single seat, yeah, potentially I think fairly small gains for the Lib Dems to be expected. Independents and others doubling up to about 500. In yesterday's video, we saw data from Birmingham showing that actually Independent and other is coming up to be the 4th place party, but that's on about 17% of the vote, just behind the Labour Party, Reform and the Greens, and they will pick up quite a few council seats in Birmingham alone. So given the rest of London, depending on how well the Greens perform, yeah, you know, we could definitely see that. Green Party, really, I would make the argument the shock gainers of the night, with plus 500 here. Maybe that's a little bit disappointing for them, but I think that's looking through the lens of we're expecting them to perform quite well. Realistically, gaining 500, this is the Green Party's real breakout moment. They're coming into this defending only 140 seats. They could come out of this with about 650. So, you know, I think if we put it in perspective a little bit, this is really the Green Party's big breakthrough moment and their first chance to prove, especially in London. And I think in some of the sort of northern cities as well, just what they can do and whether they really can get down and if they really can get the turnout in their base. And then of course we have Reform, 1,550 seats gained. That is absolutely no question in the tens of councils being gained here. Really good night for Reform. Some estimates did have them originally close to about 2,000. So I don't know, maybe you can make the argument that the slight drop in the polls of about 3 points over the last 2 or 3 months probably is showing that impact. But equally, a lot of that drop's come from Restore Britain being launched, and Restore will not be standing in the vast majority of the seats up for grabs in these council elections. They're basically only standing in Great Yarmouth. So yeah, I don't know. I think maybe the Reform number could, given that, probably go up into about 1,700, 1,750, maybe at the expense of 100-200 Conservative seats and maybe another 50 to 100 Labour seats. It'd be really interesting to see where that goes, to be honest. But yeah, that's the breakdown from Lord Hayward with The Guardian on ITV Peston this evening. We now make the jump to some Welsh Senedd voting intention poll from a Survation that came out just this morning. This has, and this is the first time for a little bit, that Reform have topped a Welsh Senedd voting intention poll on 30%, up 6% from the 3rd of April last year. Plaid Cymru, they're up on 28%, up 4 points. Labour in just a year have lost nearly half of their votes. And this is really representative of what we've seen in Wales over last year. We're seeing the gains of the Green Party that we've seen in England, we've seen in Scotland, but we're also seeing some of that vote go to Plaid. So that left-wing vote is really fracturing. They've lost 9% just to the left. Conservative Party down 5 points, down to 10%. Again, I think we've seen, especially in Wales, that Conservative vote, you really can squeeze it. Carefully did tell us that. I would not be surprised genuinely if the Conservatives do end up in single digits. I mean, high single digits, definitely. But I wouldn't be shocked if we do just see a little bit of a late squeeze. In the same way, I think Labour could probably drop a couple more points and Plaid gain a few. My personal opinion is that Plaid will come out on top. Just because I think the Green Party can be squeezed. I think the Labour Party can be squeezed. And I think polls like this actually help that happen, because now Plaid can start to push the message, well, we're just behind reform. You don't want them to come first because, you know, they might try to form a minority government, then it's going to be chaos and all of that sort of rhetoric that you're going to get from both sides, regardless of who wins. And I think they could definitely get a few points off the Green voters at the very least with that kind of message. So I think it'll come down ultimately whoever wins this, because I think the Labour number's probably about there. They might fall to 12% or so, but I think that's about there. So it could come down between Reform and Plaid to who can squeeze the Conservative or the Green Party the most efficiently. If you want all of this data the second it drops, give us a follow on X at PoliticsUK on screen, and turn notifications on to get them the second they drop. Equally, we could be doing 1 or 2 videos a day here on YouTube as we build up to the elections, so make sure you subscribe to the channel for all of the latest analysis. Until tomorrow, guys, I'll see you later.